Hey guys, Chelsea here from Making Manzanita, and today we're going to show you how to make a DIY vertical wall planter, and we'll be sharing the free woodworking plans with you down in the description. Hey guys, I am starting a new project today, and this one is going to be super easy. It's a woodworking project, and I'm going to try to do it all by myself without Logan's help. So that's how you know it's pretty easy. So usually he does all the woodworking stuff around here. We are making a plant wall that is going to be mounted in our backyard and have little pots for succulents, and it's kind of a part of our backyard makeover that we're doing this summer, which because of coronavirus stuff, I don't know when that's going to start, but we already had this project planned. We were able to get all the supplies we needed, so we're going to knock this one out, and it'll just be there hanging whenever the backyard does get redone. But we are using pressure treated wood. These are pressure treated 2x6s and 2x4s. So anytime you're working on a woodworking project that is going to go outside, you definitely want to use pressure treated wood. So I'm going to cut these all down to size. I had Logan make me a plan in SketchUp, which we will be sharing with you guys for free. So I'm going to get to cutting here. I'll do some time lapse and play some music for you guys. Enjoy. So one of the great things about this project, and one of the reasons why it's very beginner friendly, is that you only need one saw to cut it, and that is a miter saw. And you can see here when I change the degree to 45 degree cuts on the miter saw, I am changing it to work on the frame, which is a miter cut on the corner. All right guys, I am all done cutting all the wood. So this is my scrap pile. I'm gonna have to figure out something fun to do with all that scrap, so let me know if you have any ideas. But basically what we have is 7 pieces cut at 39, and these are the 6-inch wide pieces, and then the 2x4s are going to be on the edges. So that's where we have our miter cuts, basically to make like a frame. So now I'm going to sand them down. I noticed while I was cutting there's a few like nails in here that I need to pull out, and then I'm just gonna very lightly sand. Don't really need to sand, I just want to get like the rough edges off. And then I will drill pocket holes in all this. So the pocket hole jig that I am using on this project here in this video is the Kreg K5, and this is an older video. So this model of the Kreg jig system is actually no longer sold. It's been discontinued and replaced with the new Kreg 720 Pro. So that is the model that I would recommend for you, and we have a full video all about how to use that. All right, so done doing pocket holes. So I did, well, I'm almost done. So I did pocket holes on the end of all of the slats that are gonna go in the middle. So these will go into the trim like frame. Now what I need to do is for the top slat and the bottom slat, we're gonna have pocket holes, it's kind of dark, at the top and bottom to drill into, to screw into the frame. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm choosing like the straightest and flattest pieces of wood so that the frame can be nice and square. And then I'll be done with pocket holes and we can move on. Next, it was time to assemble, and I did need a little bit of Logan's help on this step just to kind of hold everything together. We spaced out the slats a 1/4 inch apart and drilled them all into the frame, and then on the outside corners of the mitered frame, we added 2 screws through each outside corner. So 4 total screws in each corner. The next thing I did was sand the entire structure lightly with an Orbital sander. I started with 80 grit sandpaper on any uneven pieces, which we definitely had due to some warping of the wood, and then we moved up to 150 grit sandpaper. All right guys, I have been out here working on this plant wall. Logan helped me finish getting it all assembled today. I had started assembling it by myself and just couldn't really figure out how to hold it all in place, didn't have enough clamps, and a lot of the boards were pretty severely warped. So we just needed 2 people to kind of hold it in place. So we finally got it assembled, and then we kind of had to cheat some of the warping just to make it work. This piece specifically was the one that was the worst, or these 2 right here. So there was like a little bit of twisting. You can see this is kind of dipping down, but we cheated it and were able to put it all together. I just finished sanding it. I use like 60 and 80 grit sandpaper just to really get the pieces that were uneven kind of evened out. You can see here some of the real wood is popping through. Again, this is pressure treated wood. So I'm definitely going to need to prime it very well because some of this pressure treat is coming off. So it's coming on. So tomorrow I will work on priming, and then after that we'll paint and get the pots on there, get it hung up. So it's coming along. Next, I primed the entire structure. I used a gray tinted primer because I'm using a dark paint, so it just makes it a little easier. And I applied that primer with a paintbrush and a roller. And then it was time to move on to painting. And we painted the entire structure using exterior paint and a paint sprayer, and that made it really easy to get into the cracks and the corners of the project. All right, so I am ready to paint. I have my Wagner spray shelter set up, which makes it super easy to spray. So I don't have to worry about paint getting everywhere, and it kind of helps blocks the wind. My little plant wall here is fully primed. I did one like heavy coat of primer with a roller and a paintbrush. And you can run primer through the paint sprayer, but sometimes it's just easier to roll it on. It is a lot thicker, so you would need to thin it, and it is oil based, so it just makes cleanup a little harder with the sprayer. So I chose to roll it on, and now I'm going to get the paint on, and I'll probably do 2 coats. The paint sprayer that we use is the Wagner Flexio 3000 paint sprayer, and I love it. I've used it several times. This was actually the first time I had ever used it in this video, but since then I've used it several times and love it. So you definitely want to keep in mind that you want to set up a nice area. That's why that spray tent comes in handy, because it prevents overspray and just blocks any wind. And then you want to get your paint sprayer all set up. And definitely I recommend that you reading the manual of your paint sprayer very well before you use it for the first time. There are a lot of little nitpicky things that you need to do right. And then you can spray the project. And it's recommended that you keep this paint sprayer about 6 to 8 inches from the project and position it nice and squarely. It works best if you move the sprayer along nice and, like I said, squarely. Don't flick your wrist or bend it. And you want to try to keep a consistent speed to get a nice even coat. You can pull the trigger before you start spraying and then let the trigger off after you have passed over your project. That's the best way to get a nice finish on it. And then you want to overlap each pass to get a nice good coverage. So you can see here, this is slowed down into real time, and you can see that I'm overlapping each pass as I go. And then if you notice the paint dripping or sticking on the gun there, you can wipe the nozzle every few passes with a damp rag to remove any buildup or dried paint. And then after you're done, you just need to clean your paint sprayer. So after the paint is all good and dried, you can mark spaces and get your plant pot hooks on. These brackets are so cool. You can just slide the terracotta pot right into it and it fits perfectly. So I'll be sure to link these in the description below. We put 9 on our plant wall and just spaced them out in a 3x3 grid. Planting the succulents, I am making like a mixture of 3 different things. No, we're not turning the water on. So I am using perlite as 1/3, cactus potting soil as the other 1/3, and then this like succulent mix I got on Amazon. It's like a really dry, it's just like rocks and like bark. It had really good reviews, but it was kind of expensive, so I didn't want to use it for the whole thing. So I'm kind of like mixing it in, see how that goes. And in the bottom of each pot, I'm using rocks just for the hole so that the dirt doesn't go through there, and then just to kind of take up some space so I don't have to fill the whole thing. And then these are my succulents. I also got these on Amazon. I've never ordered live plants online before, but worked out. Here's what those succulents looked like once they were all planted. I got some very small succulents. If I was to do this again, I would probably order some larger ones just so they look a little more substantial right away. And then you can hang up your plant wall onto your exterior. So our exterior is brick. So what we did is we drilled 2 slightly angled holes at the correct height, and then we added in steel rods and secured those with 100% silicone. And then the plant wall hangs directly onto those steel rods. And the last but not least step, you can put in your terracotta pots into those brackets and sit back and enjoy. Doesn't it look so good? I absolutely love how it turned out. It's so fun and just adds so much character to our backyard. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you're interested in building something like this, don't forget that we are sharing the free woodworking plans with you. Those will be down in the video description below, so you can build this for your backyard too. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day. While you're here, we would love it if you'd subscribe to our channel. We share weekly DIY and renovating videos. All right, we'll see you next week.